What's going on, guys? It is Coach Kenny here, and we're going to go into fighter conditioning explained. See, one of the questions that I get online, honestly, probably more often than any other ones, is when I talk about the three energy systems of the body, is do you train all three of them in the same session or in the same week, right? Some version of that question. And so I want to really just break it all down for you right here and show you how you should be doing it. Now, the first thing we got to remember, conditioning should be complementing your skills work. So it's not about who can just do the most, it's about peaking for the proper date. So what that means is, well, first off, what is conditioning? Your ability to do the things you need to do for the amount of times you need to do them. So in a fight, right, again, like take this and apply it to your specific discipline, but that's your ability to throw punches, kicks, knees, elbows, grapple, whatever else it is you're doing in your discipline for the amount of minutes and the amount of rounds that your fight is going to last. So the first part of this is the aerobic energy system. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have heard me talk about this a lot. And one of the most common things, this has been coming up a lot lately, which always makes me laugh, is people will like shit talk posts because they're like, oh, he's saying that you can do like shorter sessions for the aerobic system. That's just wrong. Like it's 30, 60 minutes zone two work. This guy's a fucking idiot. No. See, there's two different parts of aerobic training. There's aerobic capacity, which is the amount of work your aerobic system can do. That would more be your 30 to 60 minute zone two work. And there's aerobic power, which is how much high intensity work your aerobic system can crank out during a specific measure of time. So the real key here is not saying that aerobic capacity is not important, but you have a constraint. You have a 5-minute round or a 3-minute round or a 2-minute round, depending on the sport. Right. So it's not about who can go the longest, the amount of time you can. It's not about who can go the longest. It's not how much total work you can do. It's how much time, how much high intensity work can you do within that constraint of that round and those amount of rounds in that fight. So capacity is obviously still important, but power is the area that I see so many fighters overlook. So an example of how to train it is you can do this in a variety of different ways. You can pick multiple exercises, ideally switch between lower and upper body to create a circuit. You can do it on an air bike, a rowing machine, a treadmill, whatever you have access to. Go for 2 minutes and 30 seconds at the highest pace you can maintain, rest for a minute, repeat it for 5 to 6 rounds. Then we got the lactic system. Basically, this is going to be this is going to be our main focus of the off-season conditioning is the aerobic system. Then we have our lactic system. You're going to push an extended pace. Basically, what this is helping you do is push an extended pace without the muscles burning out on you. So, you get deeper into a round, long exchanges, continuous grappling, things like that. And the lactic system is essentially delaying the onset of muscle fatigue. This is the main system you're using between the aerobic system, the baseline of energy to just keep going for longer, and the alactic system, which we're going to get into in a minute. Now, how to train it. There's always a lot of different examples, right? When I gave that example for the aerobic power, 2 minutes, 30 seconds and 1 minute off. It's not the only way you can do it. It is one way that you can do it. Same idea with the lactic system. Lots of different ways you can train it. There's a lot of different ranges of sets, rest time, work time. But basically, the key is you're going as close to 100% as you can for the whole duration of the work time. You're resting long enough that you should be well recovered so that you can hit another hard round, not so long that you're 100%. The goal is to continue to push a pace even as fatigue starts to set in. Then we got the alactic system. The goal here is max energy. So the alactic system can generate the most amount of energy if out of any of these three systems, but it can only do it for the shortest period of time, usually under 10 to 12 seconds. Now, again, depending on where you go, you might see some places say 12 seconds, some places say 8 seconds, whatever. There's no perfect balance. If you do alactic work for 15 seconds, it's not going to fucking ruin it, right? But if that 10 to 12 second range is technically what most articles, or research in this area will tell you. So basically what we're working on here is knockout shots, your ability to throw powerful combinations and repeat them. And this is the main focus of the later part of your training camp, the peak. We usually have this in the last 2 to 3 weeks. It's the main focus with our athletes. Now, again, Many perfect examples of sessions. You can extend the rest time out a little bit. You can bring the rest time down a little bit. But the idea is very short, 100% effort, followed by complete rest. Repeat that for multiple rounds. I usually go 10 to 12. You can extend that out a little. You can bring that in a little. It all depends on the athlete and what you're getting out of the session. So in summary, every system is very important, right? Baseline pace with the aerobic system, muscle endurance with the lactic system, and the repeatability with the alactic system. Now, one other side note, one thing I get on Instagram a lot is actually it's the oxidative system and the glycolytic and the lactic acid system, and everybody has a different fucking name for it. When you go to different places, you're going to hear different names. So yes, instead of trying to appeal to everybody and try to get all the names in there, I just picked 3 that are all accurate. It's not like I'm fucking making shit up, but I picked 3 names: aerobic, lactic, alactic. Keeps it simple, keeps it easy to understand the difference between the 3, right? I'm not going to get into oxidative phosphorylation and the glycolytic blah, 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 whatever, because my goal is to make you understand it, not show you how many big words I know. But every system is very important, but they are not all meant to be trained year round. That is the main point here. So how we set it up for our athletes, me and my team have coached hundreds of fighters all around the world, all different disciplines, really from going into amateur debuts all the way up to UFC main events. And we've worked with champions in multiple different organizations. Basically, this is how we go about the conditioning work. Number 1, in the off season, we're always going to have 2 aerobic sessions per week. So this is going to be different styles and intervals based around the aerobic system and how it works. But we're going to have 2 aerobic sessions per week. And then the third conditioning session, we always do 3 a week, is focused on what the athlete needs most, right? Because usually we do 3 sessions a week. Now, instead of trying to hit all 3 systems in all 3 sessions every time, we're going to focus on the system we want to build the most with 2 sessions. And we're going to focus on the system that is our secondary priority in the 3rd session. So if the muscles feel like they burn out on you, we're going to focus that 3rd session on the lactic system. If you feel like power in your combinations is struggling, we're going to focus that 3rd session on the alactic system. We're going to switch this up every 3 to 4 weeks. Now, as we go into early part of training camp, we're going to have 2 focused on our primary focus, the lactic system, different intervals and styles. Again, not just what I showed you on the other slide. And then we're going to have 1 focused on either the aerobic or the alactic session, alactic system. Wow. Depending on what the athlete needs and what they are going to get the most benefit of. Now, late training camp, we're going to eliminate the aerobic work in the last 2 to 3 weeks because according to the research and how this stuff all works, once you're in those last few weeks, the aerobic system, if you've built it properly, will hold off for that amount for those last 2 to 3 weeks without fading off. So instead of putting more time into something that we're going to be able to maintain at a very high level anyway, I'm going to put those 3 sessions into the alactic and the lactic system, or just the alactic, depending on what the athlete needs most. Now, there are going to be some exceptions to this. If you're not fighting for a long time, what I tend to do with my athletes is run almost like mini camps where it's like working them through what that little bit of a peak is going to feel like so that we're not just getting stuck in like build the baseline for months and months and months and months on end. We'll run like a little bit of a mini peak, like 4 to 6 weeks of like just build it up, get good lactic work in, good alactic work in, and then reset and build again. So really the main thing that I want you guys to focus on is you are not here to train all 3 systems at the same time in the same week. That is not the goal, because basically the way I like to look at conditioning, it's like filling up a water bottle, right? The style most people go with when they're trying to train all 3 systems in every session, they just open up the tap and they just start pouring water into the bottle, thinking the more water I pour, the more full that bottle is going to be. Now, the problem is the bottle can only get so full, right? Once it's here, it doesn't matter how much more water you pour in, it's just going to dump out the sides. So our goal is not fucking pressure wash the bottle or fire hose the bottle and just continue to do that year round, because eventually you're just going to like break through it. You're going to spill more water. It's not going to be more beneficial. Our goal is basically in the off season to build the size of the bottle. And then through the training camp, it's to effectively fill the bottle so that on fight night, we are as close to the top of the bottle as possible. right? So it's about continually adding to the conditioning over time, not just how fucking hard can I work every single week. I hope that makes a lot of good sense. And guys, if you enjoyed this, comment on this video. Let me know what you took away, what you liked, what you didn't like. That's okay too. Subscribe to the channel. And then also, if you are looking for help training for your next fight, if you've seen this conditioning stuff and it feels confusing and you want to know how you can get this stuff all done for you, check out my application link in the summary of this video. Fill it out, and me and my team will be in touch to see how we can help you out coming into your next fight. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.